All right, we're gonna get started.
Okay.
Hello and welcome to our first live broadcast on Facebook here with Old Toy Soldier. If you haven't met us before, I am Brigade.
I'm Ray Harridan.
And if we have met you before, hello, it's nice to see you again. I know we just saw a lot of you in Chicago a couple weeks ago at the Chicago Toy Soldier Show. And we had a blast there with a lot of our clients and friends. We had a lot of great dinners, and we'd like to give a shout out to Roger Garfield on his very first show. He took over for Dawn this year. But Roger and his wife Jan, along with the rest of the staff at in Chicago, did a fantastic job, and we couldn't have been happier with how that all turned out. We'd also like to thank everyone who participated in our hat promo, which we gave out a ton of these hats.
Old Toy Soldier hats.
We loved it, and now I think Ray and my official selfie count is up to well over 300 now, but thank you to everyone who joined us with that. We really enjoyed it. We had a great time, and also I want to thank Kent and Scott for helping us with our annual bargain room sale. I believe it was what year was that, Ray?
The bargain room sale this year? It was our 13th year of having a bargain room. So we started a long time ago. It was a big success. If you've never been to Chicago, I literally sell an entire room of toy soldiers in 15 to 25 minutes. So people enjoyed it. Everyone gets something. We gave away a lot of hats, pens, and everyone went home with handfuls of soldiers.
Yes, and after Chicago, we traveled to Louisville, Kentucky, and we went to the Stuart Toy Soldier Gallery opening, which is amazing. If you haven't seen it, the exhibit's now open now, and everyone at the Fraser Museum, including Penny and Zach and Bridge and Maureen, and also big thanks to Peter Warner, Norman Joplin, Sue Joplin, and of course Ray Harridan for putting all of their minds together and collecting powers to help Mr. Charles Stuart develop one of the most well-renowned toy soldier collections in the entire world. It is a must-see if you've never been to Louisville. And
Louisville's a good town. You should try to get down there.
Yes, and make sure you have a mint julep while you're there as well.
Exactly.
They're pretty good. So I think that's, and also we kind of just want to tell everyone really why we're... It's not the door.
First live broadcast, and we got someone at the door.
Haven't I
Nancy,
said...
can you get that?
Haven't I said enough
What
emails that we're live?
This is my wife Nancy. She's helping us out. What do we got? Oh, you know what that is?
What is it? Soldiers?
That's from Bill. Open that up. Huh. Sorry, everyone. Hold on.
Oh my goodness.
There we go.
Check this out.
Ah.
Am I wearing it the right way?
I think you are. It looks
Okay.
good on you.
Now I feel like we're officially live. And if, in case anyone had any doubts.
That's for sure. So a friend of mine, Bill, was over the other night and said we were doing this Facebook Live, and he had something perfect for us.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, look at that. Bree, you got to try that on.
Check this out.
Yeah, try that on.
All right, hold on one moment.
Did Nance give her a hand?
Need some assistance. Okay.
Look at that.
Now I feel like that's killer.
Yeah, beautiful.
I'm stylish.
That actually was a uniform that was worn for coronation. Bill didn't know which one, but from the early 1800s. He thought about 1837. You look very perfect for a toy soldier.
You want to wear that?
Let me try that hat on. Huh?
Nice.
What do you guys think?
All
I
right.
can get used to that.
Now I think
Now we can talk toy soldiers.
But
Yeah, ostrich feathers.
I know.
Very nice. Oh, give it a little
I
pat.
can pet that. That's pretty cool. All right, but back to what?
Yeah, that was
where was I? Back to what I was saying. Why are we live and why are we doing this? because we don't have an auction gallery and we sell all of our soldiers online via live auctioneers, we really feel like there can be at times a disconnect between us and our clients and just great soldier collectors and soldier friends. So this really gives us the opportunity to get some one-on-one time with everyone, and just have some fun and talk soldiers. If you're a collector, that's great. If you're not, you can still join in and learn about this hobby that we all have such a great passion for. I know we do. I know Ray does. I know that a lot of people in this hobby, it's just...
Wait, you like my hat?
Yes. I don't know if I speak for everyone right now, but I'm having a very difficult time looking at Ed with a straight face with that hat on.
All right. Well,
but yes, so...
I want to distract everyone. Thank you, Bill, though. That was very nice.
Thank you, Bill.
Appreciate it.
You're the best. But if you didn't know, and if you haven't gotten our emails yet, to switch gears a little bit, we have a major auction tomorrow morning. The Bill Jackey collection. We're selling 167 lots from his collection, and the auction begins at 10 a.m. EST. And a lot of these sets are very, very rare. It's a Britain sale, and
it's sort of one of our specialty sales. We have a lot of sales during the year, but we're trying to develop every October. We have a real specialty sale. We really offer some truly world-class items. This one is going to be tomorrow. Bill Jackey's 167 lots. This is our color catalog. We'll move fast. We'll sell those in about 2 hours. There are probably 30 or 40 just really exceptional world-class sets within that collection.
Yes. So with that being said, we are going to feature a couple of the lots that we picked out in this sale. And if you have a catalog, feel free to follow along. If you don't, our catalogs are up on our website, oldtoysoldierauctions.com. You can also check them out on Live Auctioneers. Just type in Old Toy Soldier Auctions and the entire sale will come up there as well. So with that being said, we're going to start with our cover lot.
Yeah, this is the cover.
It's lot 10. And this is set number 7, the Royal Fusiliers, and it is a very rare, let me see if I can get a little closer to you so you can see the figures, but it's a very rare plug-handed set. It's in very good condition, and
yeah, this set actually, they're termed the Germanic set. Mainly because we believe, we don't know for sure, but we believe they were actually cast in Germany, 1893, amongst the very first sets that Britain's released. The theory is on all these Germanic sets, which are characterized by, especially if you look at the officer. Bre, could you show them the officer up there? The officer, the type of horse he is on is indicative of German figures from that period, very broad-chested, as opposed to what Britons later did with the more sleek casting. These figures, they're called plug-handed again because the hand actually is a separate casting that would plug right into the wrist. I don't know if you can see that, but it comes out and goes in. Because of that, very often these guns are missing. It's very rare to have them all here. This example, some of these figures should have bayonets, but they are missing. Again, this is from 1893. Now, what we think and why we call them Germanic is that someone from Britain's, probably William Britons himself, went to the Nuremberg Toy Show, 1893, and saw lead figures, which were fairly common in Germany at the time. They were making lead figures in England, but they were solid cast. These are hollow cast. So, Bre, again, could you show up there at the bottom of the base? So what that means is when they were actually producing these figures, they poured molten lead into a mold. The workmen that were doing this were very skilled, and they would let the lead set up in the mold for literally, it was almost like 2 seconds, 3 seconds, depending on the temperature of the lead. And then they turned the mold back over, dumping out a lot of molten lead, leaving a shell of the figure. What this did to toy soldiers in general, and why these figures sort of are the very first representation of that, is it used a lot less materials. They were much cheaper to ship, much cheaper to produce. Basically, this figure weighs a third of the weight that if it was solid cast, a third of the lead that was used. So all the way around, it really enabled them to produce large quantities of figures at a cheaper price. This set, basically all the sets numbered before set number 10 are all considered very, very important. This being set number 7, the Fusiliers. So all these, they were only made 1893, 1894, maybe 1895. And this is a superior example. We put it on the cover of the book. There are maybe 4 or 5 sets of these known. Only one box set, which is actually pictured in James Opie's first book.
Which is right behind us
there.
here.
That's the only box one. This is a complete unboxed.
Have you ever seen this one before?
I've sold, yes, this is the 3rd example of this set that I've sold. I did broker the box set probably 5, 6 years, 7 years ago. But I think it's a very important set, especially for a Britain's collector that really wants to focus on the very earliest figures. So, I think that's about it on that. Nancy, can we have the second one?
Next lot, please.
The next lot we're going to look at is actually a little earlier. And it's another one of these first version Germanic sets. Why don't you show them the officer up there, Bre?
This one that we have in the catalog is 4 pieces. All of them are mounted figures.
And what's nice, this is a partial set. There should be 6 pieces. We have the officer with an outstretched sword. We have a trumpeter right here. And then there are 2 troopers. These are both missing their swords, which should be at the carry. There should be 2 more troopers. But these figures are exceedingly rare. Again, I've only had maybe 2 individual figures prior to this. So as a grouping, I think this is a very nice set. These sets are fairly expensive. This whole catalog's fairly expensive. And I don't want to scare everyone away. In November and December, we'll be having sales, which will have much more modestly priced type sets. But this is sort of for the top end of the pyramid. And for those guys, this set's probably going to be selling around $4,000 or $5,000. So, I think, again, it's for a real collector, and I think it's for a lot of young collectors to aspire to try to find these. I mean, there surely are some still out there that can be found at sales. It just takes a lot of looking, and it is a rare figure.
And I'm noticing that there is, I'm going to just show you what I'm seeing from my perspective. There's a little hole. Hold on. Let me see if I can get this at the right angle. There's a hole underneath, right, I'm going to call it the mouth of the horse there. Why is that, Ray?
Well, again, these are hollow cast. So they are hollow. One of these figures you can see back here. So this is a good example here on one of the troopers. I don't know if you can see the big hole in the rear of the horse. There was a mold, a 2-piece mold. They pour the lead in and they let it set up. They let the soft lead move out. But when they pour the initial metal into the mold, there's air in that mold. And you need a place for that air to go or the metal's going to bubble out. So that's what this hole, it's called a blowhole. This is actually a gate or a casting hole. That's where that's where the lead would actually go in. There would be big burrs that would come off of this that would have to be fouled off. And they did that with every figure. But every hollow cast figure will have 2 holes. One where the metal went in and one where the air came out of. A lot of times you might not see it. A lot of times they get painted over and you just don't see it. But every one of them has it. Because it's the only way that you can that's the only way they could cast at that period in time. So those are some of the earliest sets that we have in the wholesale. And, I think there's one other. We have a set of plug-handed Lancers, which I believe is lot number 11. Those are sort of the 3 pre-1895 sets.
Thank you, Nance.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to move a little closer to you so you can just see this. This is the first original boxed set that we are showing you. The label's going to be backwards to you, but I just want to give you a little closer look.
Hey, show them the end label on there, Bre.
This is the end
that
label.
That actually says FAO Schwartz. So that's the FAO Schwartz in New York City, which recently closed down, unfortunately. That was a mecca for toy soldier collectors. It started many, many collectors They sold a lot of soldiers. This is a Royal Horse Artillery.
It is lot 27, and I'm going to just flip this up so that I can also give you a closer look. You can see the patina on them is just beautiful. The paint is just, it's awesome on this set, in my opinion. It's one of the nicest ones I've personally seen so far.
Well, it is. Yeah, and this is an interesting set, and we could talk a long time on Royal Horse Artilleries. There's a lot of versions, and actually we do have a first version. This would be sort of what you would call a fourth or fifth version even. The first version was made in 1893, and what that does is they all have a horse team, and this is the Horse Artillery, which is a specific division. These are in what are called peak caps, which are these flat top hats that they have here. Show them that. And then the gun team itself composes of a limbered wagon. And the limbered wagon here, that is actually where they would carry the ammunition for the field gun. And these were actual war vehicles. So this is the earliest tank. And why this set's so important is mainly the condition. It's one of the finest examples known. Sort of the whole brief history of this set is it first came out in 1893, set number 39, first version. Only difference was that they had seats on the gun, in the gun back here. There would be seats where gunners would actually sit. The second version, about 1900, they actually added these outriders. And then around 1912, 1913, they actually renumbered the set 39A, which incorporated the peak caps. And then toward the late 30s, 1938, that's when they just changed the numbering system to be 1339. For a lot of collectors, they want every version. There's probably 7 or 8 versions of this set. And actually, this is a set that Britain still produces today. Britain's was producing in Asia, but they just did a deal with some friends of ours, Ken Olson and John Booth and Ted from Ted Toys. They actually have purchased Britain's, and they are setting up shop right outside of Toledo, Ohio, and hope to continue the long tradition of selling toy soldiers.
And how would you display something like this in your collection?
Oh, that's a good question, Bre. Okay. This set is tied in. So these figures are tied in. That's the way it would have actually come from the store when you bought it. These tie cards, the card that actually the figures are attached to, those are original. And that matters for value. The box is original. That matters for value. It's pre-war. So essentially for any pre-war set, none of them are originally tied, meaning all of them, someone has retied them back into the box. The string deteriorated. So I've had maybe 4 or 5 originally tied pre-war sets ever. But essentially you can look at any pre-war set as being retied, which means that you can cut the string, take them out, and display them on a shelf if you like. This set in particular, I usually like to put on a back wall, and then I take the lid, and I would put it on top like that, and sort of make it like the wallpaper.
That looks really neat.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah, it does look good. And but then other collectors, and a lot of the guys that sort of like mint in the box, they'll sort of collect along the lines of someone that does baseball cards or coins, meaning more they like to collect by number. They know they have it. They'll keep it in their room. They'll pull out the set. They'll open it up like we're doing right now, look at it, put it back in. Comic book collectors, very similar. It's more, they just like the fact, they like the idea of going through and they like, a lot of soldier guys like cataloging, they like making lists.
Mm-hmm.
I think, they like the order of collecting, and especially collecting toy soldiers. Okay.
Thank you, Nance. This is lot 39 in our sale. They are the Middlesex Regiment.
This is one of my favorite sets. This is a very rare set. I haven't had it too often.
And it is a 8-piece set.
It's an 8-piece set.
And it's in very good condition as well. I mean, great condition, really. I'm just going to bring it a little closer so that you can see. And their little rifles do move.
a beautiful figure. Okay, those are called wasp waisted. That's first version. So the round base. The base is technically oval base. I call them round base, but they're technically called oval base.
Oval round.
They're wasp waisted, meaning see how their waists are very cinched in. They have a very tight waistline. Which, by the way, you're wearing a gentleman's jacket there and fits like a glove. That's what's amazing. I mean, I think this is an amazing thing. This is a jacket that was designed for a male officer in the mid 1800s, and they were very small.
What are you trying to say, right?
I'm just amazed how well. I'm just amazed at how well it fits you.
Okay, I'll take that as a compliment.
You should.
Thank you.
Okay, these oval base figures. Let's change the subject real quick. What's nice with this set is there is a Pioneer. Okay, that only came in the first version. Pioneer has an axe. Pioneers were usually the first ones in. They were the ones that were meant to clear, in that time, it was to clear barbed wire, basically to clear any kind of entrenchments. They are the tip of the spear. It was a very, very dangerous job. There's also an officer in this set. And this set, again, is very early, about 1895. And I don't know if you can see that.
I don't know if you can see it, but there are little slits.
There's slots on the
little
bottom.
slots. Yeah, you
That's correct for early Britons. That's how they were put into the box and held there. There would usually be Excelsior, which is, it's basically sawdust or like wood shavings that would hold them in place. So a lot of people will see a box like that and they don't think it's correct, but it is. This has a beautiful label. We call this a battle honors label.
Here's a closer look at this. And for this set, Ray, did it have a tie card or no?
No, it just had these slots.
So just the slots.
It just had the slots, but then there would have been those wood shavings. It was called Excelsior. Would be in there, basically packed all around it. So they would just be fitted in the slots with the wood shavings around them, and that's how they would receive them. They only did that for about 3 years. It was very early. But it's one of my favorite sets in the sale. I think it's really a pretty set. It's about as nice a condition as I've ever seen that set. So that's a good one.
Okay. If anyone has any questions during the broadcast, we'll do our best to answer them. We can see them coming along the right side of our screen. And we have about a 10-second delay, so if we don't answer right away, that's why.
All right, Nance. Okay, the piece de resistance. Set 72. Okay, this box looks odd. I'm going to start with this. There was a collector, Tim Ilinsky, who wanted to build the best collection of toys of Britons in the world and really wanted the very best sets possible. He loved his set so much, he actually had these leather-bound candy boxes made to protect them. He even lined them with beautiful art papers. He told me when he was having them made.
It looks really cool. I mean, you could literally, I feel like you could put this on the wall.
You could. Well, he knew a bookbinder in Cincinnati.
Oh, really?
So that's who designed these boxes for him. The great thing about him, he sold his collection in 2003, but this signifies something that was from his collection. So it sort of gives added provenance to the set. Now this set in particular, go ahead, Bre.
And you can see he also put these little ribbons on the side.
Demonstration.
So you can lift out the set easily without really handling the original box. And it sits on...
It actually had a little card, so that's how you lift it up. Box bottom.
So I'm going to show you this box while I'm holding it.
Okay. This is one of the most important Britain sets there is. It's set number 72, Lifeguards Past and Present. This one in particular was made for the Queen's Diamond Jubilee, which was 60 years. That's diamond. I'm reading the box to get those dates.
This is also lot 48.
Lot 48. This is a very important set. This one in particular has great provenance. It was part of the Bill Mealy collection. It went to Tim Ilinsky, who made these boxes for it, and then went to Bill Jackey. Beautiful graphics on the label.
It really is.
I mean, really, really nice. There are other labels, but this one pictures, it's a lifeguard set, so they call it the Queen's Diamond Jubilee Souvenir 1837-1897 Lifeguards. It pictures a lifeguard in the 1837 dress, right there, and then a lifeguard in the 1897 dress.
Which is on
Lifeguards were the Windsor's first unit and probably the most important unit in the British Army. They will probably dispute that at some point. It also has a very unique figure. This lifeguard here, now remember what that looks like. It's showing the lifeguard with the big head plume.
I am pointing
Because on our next lot, we're going to show you
here.
something very interesting on our next lot. Okay, now what that is that's showing the two different uniforms, 1837 versus 1897. I think it's one of the sexiest of all Britain sets. Personally, I think this and set 39, first version, you know, they're both must-have sets.
I like that. I think we should start describing or cataloging our sets as sexy.
They are. That's sexy to me. Shows you how warped I am. I got two girls here, and I like the soldiers. This set is really, I think, a phenomenal set. It has great patina, all the luster, all the swords are there. This is tin sworded. So they all have a tin sword that was actually cast into the figure. I just think it's a spectacular set. This very expensive set. I don't know where this one's going to end up selling, but it's probably going to be around the 10 to 15,000 range. There's a lot of interest. We have a number of phones on it tomorrow, so it's going to be interesting to see where it actually ends up. All right. And before we put that away, Nancy, could you bring over the next one? Because now we're getting into one of the things that's really interesting with this sale that's coming up is we have a number of Paris office sets. As World War I was ending, there was still a lot of glory around war. War did not become so glorious after World War II. But after World War I, still the majority of boys, they wanted to grow up and go into the army and go off and fight. That was just what, it's just what men did back then. Especially if you were from a family of wealth or a family of no means. The wealthy, even, they lost a lot of people, but those were generally the commanders. And they had a better time in the army than the enlisted men, but it was still a very, very, very dangerous occupation. So right after World War I, or when it was winding down, Britain's actually set up a factory to produce figures in Paris. They produced there, I believe, until 1923. And these are called Paris office figures. What we have here is a very, very rare Paris office box. Why don't you show them the box? If you see up in the upper corner, it says BL. That's Britain's Limited.
It's right there that he's talking about. It's
Army Française. I've only had a handful of Paris office boxes ever. This one, if you open it up, Bre, please.
Yes.
Okay, these are Spanish Dragoons. It's a very rare set. This set's well known, well documented. If you were paying attention, you'll see that that casting is the exact same casting as the 1837 Dragoons, which we just saw in the past and present set. Interesting, because that's the only other set that I know of that they ever used that casting for. It's the same casting. They did change. These figures are carrying carbines or rifles, whereas the Lifeguards, they all have swords, empty-handed swords. So they had to rework the casting a little bit, but it's the same figure. Again, these are super rare here, the Paris office. This set probably is going to be selling close to $10,000. All the Paris office box set, and even unboxed. There's really a lot of interest, and just a lot. Collectors really seem to like these sets a lot.
Yes, and since I've been involved with the hobby, they've just been wildly talked about, really. And I've heard a lot of buzz about Paris office, but until these beautiful sets from the Jackey collection, I really hadn't seen any, you know, in person in this type of condition, in these boxes. And I've handled a lot of soldiers in the last 4 years that I've been working with Ray. So he definitely has a couple years on me, but I haven't seen any like that. So.
Well, I've seen a lot of Paris office, but this is one of the bigger groupings that we've had. You know, so I think we have about 30 sets of Paris office in this one, I believe.
I think that's about right.
from individual figures to box sets. The individual figures, we have a number of officers. They seem like they're generally going to be selling around 300 to 400, but maybe more. But it's a nice grouping. You don't often get a chance to sort of buy some Paris office figures. All right. Now what we got here, Bre?
This one is lot 109. Am I correct here? No. What lot am I on?
Yeah, it's lot 115.
Excuse me.
That's
This
okay.
is lot 115. This is the U.S. landing party. And once again, this is an original box.
Okay, now what's so unique about this? This is a one-of-a-kind set as far as we know. I've never seen another. I've never heard of another. This came out of the Bill Mealy collection, out of Boston in the early 80s. It's a landing party, which is set 79, which is fairly common. But this is in U.S. troops. What really sets it apart is the box label, because it's U.S. Army's landing party with field gun. And now here are the figures, and I'm sure most of you don't know the difference, and I had to look it up, frankly, myself. The difference is these figures are not painted with a cap band. So the regular British landing party has a black cap band, and on their kerchiefs, these do not have a white stripe on their blue kerchiefs. That's really the only difference, but that's what sets it apart. That's what's going to make this set sell very well. Basically, none of the Britain's collectors have this. A regular landing party, to give you an idea, in a box, sort of similar condition, would probably sell around $700 or $800, whereas this one's probably going to be more $7,000 to $8,000.
Wow.
But it's a neat addition to any set,
Yes.
especially if you like U.S. troops.
Yes, U.S. troops, and I love the baby blue and just the blues on that.
Very pretty.
It's very pretty. Sexy, we'll call it.
She likes
In
the
Ray's
sexy set.
words.
She likes it.
What do we have next here, Nancy?
All right.
All right.
All right. So right here.
All right, we've got types of the British Navy. I'm
And
going to
that's
show
a
you the
Royal
box
Marine-
label for this one.
That's the Royal Marine Color Party. Okay, now what's interesting about this set and why we chose it to show, this set was specially made for Hamleys. If you don't know, Hamleys was the equivalent to FAO Schwartz for England. They're a big department store. They're located right on Oxford Street. It's still there when you make the bend going up. If you're going up Oxford, it's on your right-hand side. They very often will do big store windows at Christmas time and incorporate a lot of toy soldiers. Nancy and I have been there a number of times where we've seen that. This is one of the sets that Britons didn't really produce. They just had Hamleys make it, or Hamleys commissioned Britons to make it, and they sold it in their store. Best set known of this. Generally, you'll find them unboxed. This is, as far as I know, the only boxed example. This actually came from James Opie's private collection. There are letters that document all this. Again, when you're getting into sets of this caliber, that's important. That really sort of helps the price, and you know, collectors like to know sort of the lineage of where they came.
Do you see letters like this often? I mean, is that...
Fairly often, especially with unique things. I wouldn't say all the time, but if it's something really unique, generally it's a good idea to get a letter. If it's super unique, guys like me usually will know the provenance, so I know what collections they come to, but it's hard to keep track of it all the time. So it is always a good idea to sort of get letters. If you're buying something in an auction, you know, keep the auction tags with them. It just sort of helps document where it came from, which can be very important, especially at the very high end. In the mid row, I don't know if it matters that much, but when you have something very special like this set, that's important. All right, I think we got one more set,
We have one more set.
Hope everyone's enjoying this.
I'm sorry, I just read the comment that all our labels are backwards. We're going to work on that for the next broadcast. So, thank you.
You did mention they were all backwards.
Thank you for all the comments. Okay, this is our last lot that we're going to feature. It's lot 144 in our sale tomorrow. It's the Army Medical Wagon, and it's a pretty big set, so I'm going to do my best to kind of lift it up closer to you here. I think I got it.
Okay, that's the St. John's Army Medical Brigade. It was manufactured, or this is an interesting set, and why it's famous. It's pictured in the number of books. Actually, this is also pictured in James Opie's book. It's a big medical display with the tents, which a lot of kids liked at the time. You know, it's really a beautiful example, well documented. Sort of like the set that we last showed you, where Hamleys commissioned Britons to produce figures, and then they boxed it, Hamleys boxed it and sold it. This company is called C.E. Trumbull. Another company like Hamleys, they were basically a jobber, we call them a jobber. They probably put in an order for maybe 100 of these sets. Don't know why, either to sell retail, it could have been for a function. I believe there are about 2, maybe 3 of these known. So on this set, the figures are very nice. Again, oval base, you can see oval bases, nurses in bottle dresses, wounded with legs together. First version. The ambulance here, we call it heavy collar harnesses. I don't know if you can see, but on the ambulance, the horses, they're wearing big, thick horse collars, and then the traces are braided. So it's braided metal. That tells you it's first version, which would date this right around just after the turn of the century. I love this set. I personally think this is another very sexy set breed.
Tallying them up.
Or as Frank Leo likes to say, it's killer. This is a killer one. I love this set. It's toward the end of the sale. My guess is it's probably going to be selling between 5,000 and 7,000. But again, a very, very nice example. So I think that's sort of all the lots that we were going to feature today. I hope everyone sort of learned something and enjoyed it. And you know, we'll be around to answer any questions. If you want to email us or give us a call, we'll be here for the next hour or so.
Yep, and we're just going to kind of talk for just a couple more minutes here. And yeah, feel free to type any questions that you might have. If you have a catalog in front of you, or if any questions have come to you, it doesn't even have to be about our auction tomorrow morning. It could be really about anything. What is the... Can you read that, Greg? Hold on one second.
Really enjoyed it, Nancy and Brady. Thank you, Greg.
Thanks, Greg.
Everyone's saying thank you.
And...
oh, future.
Yeah, we have a couple announcements for our next live broadcast. We will be in New Jersey next week. We have a big RSL auction on October 14th and 15th, Friday and Saturday. We're going to be selling mechanical and still banks, as well as early American German toys and some folk art as well. So we're going to do another live broadcast before that sale, so we'll definitely announce it before we do. I don't have an exact time right now, so stay tuned for that. And that sale is actually already up online on Live Auctioneers. The next one after that is for Cyber Toy Auctions. It is going to be on November 12th, and it'll feature Keystone toys as well as mechanical and still banks and some wind-up toys. And I believe there are going to be about 600 lots in that sale. I don't think we have a final number just yet. That
should be up online in a week or so.
In a week or so. That one's not up online yet. And our next Old Toy Soldier auction sale is going to be Sunday, November 13th. That is going to feature a lot of newer manufacturers, and it's going to have Alamer, Tradition, King and Country, Britons. I know there's a lot of other manufacturers for that one as well, so it's not just going to be as specific as this sale. The price ranges are definitely a little more all over the board for that one, so that's on Live Auctioneers now as well. And then after that, our next Toy Soldier auction's December 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, which is our major holiday soldier sale. That's going to be a 3-day online auction, so stay tuned for that one.
I keep everyone busy. All right, we got a lot of auctions.
We have just a couple things on our agenda in the near future, but yes. And also, an exciting announcement, if you didn't receive a hat at the Chicago show, they are now available, and they're embroidered. They are flat brim snapback hats. They say #Old Toy Soldier. Super cool, super fun. You could wear them backwards, frontwards, however you would like. They are for sale on our Facebook right now. You can go on our Facebook page, you scroll down the left side, and there's a tab that says shop, so you can get one of these for yourself. We'll ship them right to you. The other thing that we have on our Facebook shop are these pens.
Show your support.
They're red and
Support
white.
the hat, use the pen.
They're red and white. We're selling them in groups of, I don't know how well you can see this, and it's going to be backwards. I'm sorry about that. But they're selling them in groups of 3. So you're welcome to get your own Old Toy Soldier pen from our Facebook shop as well. And I think that's really all I have right now. Ray, did you have anything else to add?
That's all, folks.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us for our first live broadcast. I hope that you enjoyed it as much as we did. I know I did. So.
I had a good time. Nancy?
Nance?
Yes.
So we will see you before RSL next week. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.